of the morning, you know the vibes. Yes, my bad. I had to get my other phone. The alarm was going off. But top of the morning, we are going to continue on with the Crash Dummy Chronicles. But in this Crash Dummy Chronicle, we are going to debunk or highlight a popular narrative that is associated with boxing and the networks and the different promotional companies. When it comes to Top Rank and PBC, I think that PBC is good at what they do, and Top Rank is definitely good at what they do. Both of them are great at what they do. But this is where, it gets confusing, or the programming plays a big part, right? When it comes to pay-per-view and programming boxing fans to believe something, I believe the PBC excels at that very well, as far as like doing pay-per-view type events. When it comes to overall building a fighter skill-wise and preparing him to be a skillful warrior, I think Top Rank really just blows them out the water, hands down, and that is shown across the board. And I'm going to break some of that down, as into when some of the biggest PBC fighters face up against guys that came up under Top Rank and Top Rank matchmaking, they get destroyed. And we just seen that a couple weeks ago with Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. And you heard 90-year-old plus Bob Arum still with his faculty now in regards to Earl Spence and the fact that he only fought two southpaws, with Terrence being the third, a switch. But I'll get to that as well. But like I just said, the fact that PBC and Crawford Earl Spence fight did upwards of 650 to 700 pay-per-views, high for both of them, right? Career highs for both of them with the pay-per-views. Business model. And I think Top Rank's business model is basically like, if it's not broke, don't fix. If you notice that the PBC might do bigger pay-per-view numbers, but Top Rank does more shows. Like Top Rank I think that's what they really base it more off of, the quantity, not the quality, the quantity. Because Top Rank puts on a lot of regional shows, a lot. They even had a fight card that Friday night, it wasn't as big as the Crawford Spence, but it was a card. Like they're putting on more cards than Premier Boxing Champions. And I think that is part of their formula, their business model in regards to that. Like they love to, and I say this all the time with fighters that I speak with or advise, consult, right? I always say, I ask them, I ask a fighter or his people or whatever, like, what do you want to be a gimmick, or do you want to, and I say gimmick in a respectful way. I'll be like, yeah, are you trying to be like, do you want to be the real deal, or do you want to be like, a gimmick, right? Now, if you want to be the real deal, you want to get groomed and fight, but they all the matchmakers do. But I say, yo, one thing about Top Rank, they're gonna put you in there against stern competition. They're gonna groom you, right? You're not. All matchmakers are the same, but I noticed with Top Rank, they will feed you some cherries, but then eventually they're going to start getting you prepared to be a champion, especially if you are a champion level fighter. Whereas the PBC, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and it's funny that Earl Spence said that about Top Rank, and then he went out there and got destroyed by Terrence Crawford, right? This whole smoke and mirrors thing. Remember Earl Spence said that. Like I'm not making this up. He said that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and he ended up being the smoke and mirrors, right? Can't make this shit up. But I noticed that with PBC, right? Now they're switching it up a little bit. I might do a whole nother video on that. I think they're having no other choice, but a lot of times before, it was a lot of one-sided matchups. You got guys, and I'm gonna use what's the name for a prime example, right? When Frank Martin fought Michelle Rivera was built up to be like, remember that's the guy that looks like Ali, the Dominican or the Spanish guy looks like Ali, but they built him up to be like the next one, right? He was supposed to be something. He fought Frank Martin, the Ghost, and got destroyed. He got destroyed so easy because if you do really break down boxing, the reason why he got destroyed because he was a hot air balloon. Not only was he a hot air balloon, he's another one like Earl Spence. He probably never fought too many southpaws, and when he got in there with Frank Martin, he didn't know how to fight a southpaw, and he got destroyed. But he was hyped up to be like, he was supposed to be something. And what happened? When he finally faced a southpaw, he got exposed. But that goes into the building of fighters, right? And that's what I was stating about PBC. PBC, they do that. They tend to do that. It's a lot of one-sided matchups, but that's what goes into the part of them creating pay-per-view stars, because they will have one-sided matchups, right? Then they add in, the social media flair, and they get to programming a lot of people that don't know nothing about boxing. Now, I don't call people casuals or hardcore. I just call, when it comes to social media, you have a lot of followers. That's why I think they tend to say following this or following that. That's what people are, followers, right? So what they do is they get the certain programmers with the followers, even if they have ghost accounts, because that is part of the, the programming, the number game, to start programming people to think certain people are, what it is, right? We've seen that play out with the Terrence and Earl situation. Now, if you knew boxing or you really study, you knew Earl Spence was going to get destroyed, man. It was inevitable. He only fought 2 southpaws, and I'm going to play some of the audio. Bob Arum speaking about that. See, the smoke and mirrors thing was really them, but they disguised it and protected it so well, and they programmed the audiences, social media, the media, to think that Terrence wasn't as good as Earl. That make you think that Terrence didn't fight the competition as Earl did, when it was the other way around. And that's why it played out the way it played out. But that goes back to what this thesis is. See, Top Rank will get you there as far as, matching you up. They're gonna, you're gonna go through the ringer over there. You're gonna, especially if you are the goods, you're gonna go through the ringer, because a lot of these promotional companies, right? They tend to build their fighters up, but it's a revolving door. It's a revolving door. At some point, your contract is going to be up, and they got to get rid of you. It is what it is. This is the boxing game. But when it comes to the PBC, I just think like they're great at what they do as far as pay-per-views. But as far as like quality style fighters, Tyson Fury destroyed Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was like, man, this is when I really started like keying in on it, man, because I still am a Wilder fan. I like Wilder, man. Wilder brings a lot of excitement to the sport. But when I watched Tyson Fury, and rest in peace to Coach Nassim Richardson. Coach Nassim Richardson really awoke me on this, right? I remember interviewing him in Atlantic City at the Hard Rock Cafe. And he said it in the interview. Then I talked with him offline, or, I'm looking for the proper term. Off the record. I say offline, off the record. And because I was a big Wilder dude. Like, I still am. I like Wilder. But I remember him saying that, and it played out that way. The first Tyson Fury fight, he said that he wouldn't be surprised if Tyson Fury won every single round. And me being programmed, because we all get programmed, but me being programmed, like, man, Wilder, you think so? He's like, nah, the man got a skill set. He could fight. He could box. And I'm like, man, but I was programmed. Wilder was the indestructible, you know what I'm saying? I remember being at I watched him get beat up against Luis Ortiz, you know what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz was skilled. But then I seen Wilder land a massive punch, you know what I'm saying? That's always his forte. And I'm talking to Coach, rest in peace, Nassim Richardson. He's like, yeah, skills pay the bills. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Tyson Fury, wins every single round. And what happened? The trilogy. And still to this day, they blame Mark Breland. Nah, it wasn't. Mark Breland saved that, man. That fight where his eardrum was busted and all that. Deontay Wilder was moved perfectly for his skill set with that massive right hand. The 2, the 3, or now we could say 5 fighters that he won up against that could box as heavyweights, gave him his hardest fights. The 2 King Kong Ortiz fights, and the 3 Tyson Fury fights. The only other man to go the distance with him was Stavern, and then you see what happened when they ran that back. He destroyed him. But other than that, everybody that Deontay Wilder faced, he pretty much demolished them with that massive power, that God-given power. But skills paid the bills, right? And rest in peace, Nassim Richardson. Tyson Fury has boxing skills. That's why he was able to just do what he did to Deontay Wilder. Luis Ortiz too. But one thing about Deontay Wilder, and this is the thing that he fell into, he always, probably still to this day, this is probably still his thing. You have to be perfect for 12 rounds. I just need that second. That came back to haunt him against Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury was able to get up from that second. Granted, it was a crazy long count from Jack Reese, but he got up, and the rest was history. Now that goes back to what I was saying, the matchmaking. Top Rank is good at getting their fighters groomed to be these killers, man. Whereas the PBC is great at making you an attraction. Tank Davis. We've seen that with Tank Davis. But I think why they excel at that, and like I said, I don't always see eye to eye with this guy's boxing views, but Floyd Mayweather is the king. Him and his people, Leonard Ellaby, they are phenomenal at making pay-per-view fighters. I can't take that away from them. But the thing that I got to take away from them, I guess, is because these guys will never be cool as far as like Top Rank and the PBC, because of the whole stealing of the fight shit. But I just think that, and you can look at Oscar, you can look at Floyd, you can look at all the fighters that came from underneath the Top Rank, that were brought up underneath Top Rank. They excelled. Floyd Mayweather branched off, but he was a Top Rank fighter. De La Hoya, same thing, Top Rank fighter. Floyd became an attraction once he got with Al Heyman, who Al Heyman kind of, knew the entertainment, so to say. That's why I feel like when it comes to pay-per-view attractions, the PBC blows Top Rank out the water with that. But as far as like fighters and development and building a fighter, manufacturing a fighter, PBC fighters always get destroyed by Top Rank fighters, because that's one thing that the PBC lacks in knowing how to do. The smoke and mirrors is really over there. And the two guys that I just used for the example, Earl Spence and Deontay Wilder, two of the most dominant PBC fighters, man, that we've seen go up against Top Rank fighters and basically get destroyed, like to the point where the fans that have been programmed to watch these guys for years come up with excuses. Like I heard a brother last night say that Earl had a broken rib. Like, damn, we're doing that now? That's what we're on that type of time, that he had a broken rib. He got a broken rib 3 weeks before the fight in sparring. And he didn't want to miss out on the bag. So you mean to tell me that the Nevada Athletic Commission, because you got to get examined in all this, right? So when you start putting out accusations like these, right, that he fought with a broken rib, that means some people need to be fired all across the board, from his team to the commission to doctors. A lot of people need to be fired. That means a lot of people let this fall through the crack. The same way when he had the detached retina or the torn retina and the fight got pulled, because you got to take an exam. But that's the latest one I heard last night, that he had a broken rib. He injured his rib, but he didn't want to miss out on the bag. And if that's the case, it's like, damn, for your two biggest fights of your career, because the Manny Pacquiao would have been the biggest fight of your career, you got injured in camp leading up to that, against fighting a southpaw, I'm gonna keep saying Terrence is the southpaw, even though he's a switch hitter. He fought that fight in the southpaw stance. But now let me digress. Let me get back to the topic because I don't got that much time. But PBC is great at building stars because they tapped into that programming of followers, right? You see it now with Tank Davis, right? Tank Davis is a star. But if you think about a lot of the guys that he has fought, like, but you hear the chitter chat on social media, right? I just think if him and I think he'll knock out Devin Haney. You know, Devin Haney to me, right? And I say this with all due respect, right? Devin Haney is a knockoff PBC fighter. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney is a knockoff PBC fighter to me. You know, he got people trying to push narratives and hype him up to be more than what he is as far as like star quality. But I think Tank Davis knocks him out. I think Shakur Stevenson beats him, right? But when Shakur and Tank fight now, I think we the thing that Tank has is that equalizer. He has that Deontay Wilder. But he can also box. That's why I'm not going to front on him. But I just think that Shakur Stevenson, you know, he works with Terrence Crawford. He's a master of distance and boxing. I think he had boxed the shit out of Gervonta Davis, man. You know, I think he had boxed the shit out of Gervonta Davis, and then Gervonta Davis would be 3 strikes and you're out. He would be the 3rd PBC Gladiator King that just gets taken to school. We've seen Tyson Fury take Deontay Wilder to school. We just seen Terrence Crawford take Earl Spence to school. These were larger than life fixtures over there with the PBC. Stars, both pay-per-view star. Deontay Wilder's the pay-per-view star. Earl Spence, pay-per-view star, right? But now we've seen Earl Spence just get he didn't even look like Earl to the point where the excuses is out there. But if you know, he did look like Earl. And I'm going to share this right here. You know, I'm cooking this morning. Bob Arum speaking on that. Me personally, I love when I hear the OG. Shout out to Gary in the building. He said, it's the bums on YouTube making those stupid excuses. Take the L. Facts, man. But I want y'all to hear Bob Arum, man. I love when some of the content I put out, right? The people that run the game say my shit, man. And Bob Arum, 90 plus years old, definitely runs the game, right? But listen to Bob Arum, right? Listen to Bob, man. And I told y'all this, man. Y'all need to stop putting out these all of these videos with these guys speaking about the what ifs. If Earl did this, if Earl did that, right? I told you the reason why Earl Spence really lost that fight, he didn't fight no southpaws, and they knew that. His team knew that. You know, Derrick James knew that. But Derrick is a fake, wicked individual. He will never admit to it because, like I said, and I call these people cowards for a reason. And you could be a coward in many different forms. Like when I say coward, I mean like a coward. You could still be a warrior, a fighter, but you can still be a coward because you can hide behind your fans. You can hide behind the media. You can hide behind different things. That makes you a coward. That makes you a coward. But listen to Bob, though. Listen to what Bob said. This is courtesy of Little Giant Boxing. Listen.
I've been saying for years that Crawford was much better than Spence was, and it proved out. Not only is he a better fighter, but Spence has always been one-dimensional, and Terrence, can fight. He's totally ambidextrous, and that's very important because Spence, you look at his record,
Listen.
he's fought very few southpaws.
But hey, what do I know?
That told me that he and his people were avoiding fighting southpaws.
But hey, what do I know?
Now
Let's stop it. Let's stop it, man. I try to tell y'all this. You know what it is? When people tend to do you dirty or do you foul, and then your knowledge and wisdom is too apparent, and they like, damn, we tried to really shit on this guy. But hey, what do I know? You heard what the man just said. You heard what he just said. See, I've been telling y'all that, and I love it now. I love it now because a lot of you guys on YouTube tried to assassinate my character for going at Earl Spence and his peoples, his family, his team, and all that. But I stood on my square because I know what I know. I'm a boxing baby. The same way you see Coach Reen and CEO Nasaya and little Bam Bam and Marley, that was me, right? And me being a supporter of Earl Spence at one time, I always studied him. And shout out to WCS for being on the court with this as well. You heard what Bob said. He's one-dimensional. One-dimensional. What did he say about Terrence? Ambidextrous, switch hitter, one-dimensional. They kept him away from southpaw. These are things that I put out in content. Check it out, man. Check it out. I just did a video yesterday because I'm tired of seeing people talk about strength and conditioning training or this, or he was drugged. He was no, listen. The man was moved a particular way. And then YouTubers, media, programming of boxing people got you guys lost and sidetracked. But like I said, there are spread out across the spectrum people like myself and others that actually pay attention to our woke. So like I said, shout out to WCS. I heard WCS state this many times that he felt Earl Spence was one-dimensional. See, I listen to everybody. And the people that have a like-minded mind like mine, those are the people that I really draw to. Because like I said, you're not always going to see eye to eye with everybody, but certain people know things. And you know that they know things. And those are the people that you're drawn to because, like I said, everybody's not programmed. Now, when I went through my ordeals, they was like, oh, you're mad, you're this. No, I know fucking boxing, man. Like, real talk, man. The same way I'm going to go operate this heavy machinery and shit, that's how I know boxing. It's everything, like, we all have gifts. When you tap in with your gifts, and this right here is another gift of mine, coming on here doing my diary. But when I get my validation, when I hear guys like this, Bob Arum, who run the game, when I hear guys like, rest in peace, Nassim Richardson, who been to the mountaintop with numerous fighters, speak with me and bestow knowledge and wisdom and understanding on me, and then I see some of that when I'm involved with fighters like Jihad Tucker, you know, and that's another reason why I talk my shit, right? Because I went from being casted out and talked about and basically assassinated my character to being a part of something that is special. You know, a 17-year-old kid straight out of high school getting signed to one of the biggest promotional companies. I was a part of that. And still I'm a part of this team, right? But to witness that and witness him, like I said, Jihad Tucker is doing things that some of your favorite fighters that you talk about will never, ever do, never come close to doing. He's doing this. He's 20 now, but he's been doing it for 3 years now. But he did at 17 years old, coming out the gate, fighting on major cards underneath the lights, not fighting against nobodies, not fighting against cab drivers and waiters and dishwashers and remote restaurants and pubs. No, he was fighting stiff competition from day one, and I was a part of that. So when I carry myself the way I carry myself is because I don't need validation from views, likes, and subs. I am that. I just come on here and shit on niggas for various reasons, because motherfuckers tried to shit on me. And that's just me. That's who I am. You know, I do it through this now. The old me, I will really put hands on you. I will do some diabolical, devious shit to you. But I'm older now, right? But back to the thesis before I lose it. PBC, great at building up, the whole smoke and mirrors thing. But Toprank, on the other hand, like I said, when I talk to people and advise and consult, I say, yo, if you're trying to be a better fighter, go with Toprank. If you want to be a gimmick type of fighter, go with PBC. And that's it is what it is, man. You could be a star, a gimmick star, but when you fight a guy like a Terrence Crawford or a Tyson Fury, a guy that has come up underneath the rigors of the game, you're gonna get beat up. And not only are you gonna get beat up, you're gonna get beat up to the point where somebody that is conscious and woke is gonna be like, damn, was he ever really that good? And you're starting to see that now, right? But when you see that now, you still have the people that are programmed, right? Meanwhile, they're posting Earl Spence on vacation, talking about, oh, he healed up nice. He's not healed. He's not healed, right? These guys are still lost because they've been programmed to think that Earl Spence was a god. That's why you hear me say idol worshipers. Your idol fell. Whereas Terrence is getting his validation, victory lap. He's all over. He has surpassed Earl Spence in followers on social media, but yet you still have the programmers still trying to program. I watched one particular lame cornball say that the pay-per-views that Terrence Crawford's fans didn't support him. Last time I checked, Earl Spence's highest pay-per-view numbers was like 3 and some change or 4 and some change. He just did 7 with Terrence. Earl Spence never did 7 with no other fighter. So you're going to say that Earl Spence did this? No, Earl Spence did not do this alone. They did it together. And now Terrence is going to be even bigger, because one thing about what Terrence is doing right now with this national media tour, it's expanding his brand. And I always said this about Earl Spence. Earl Spence's brand maxed out with social media. It maxed out with the content haters that latched onto it. It matched out with the guys that, and I say this respectfully, you still see guys riding Earl Spence's coattail, something that they try to say about myself. But you still see guys that haven't worked with Earl in years still talk about the work that they did with Earl. That's riding a coattail, respectfully. But then you see somebody like myself, who they say is riding his coattail, that's putting out content on him, exposing a lot of his flaws that got exposed the 29th. And these are facts. And then you just heard Bob Arum, 90 years old, put on many, many big shows, matchmaking, all of this, point out some of the flaws that I said: lack of fighting a southpaw, one-dimensional, things that others have said, like World Combat Sports. This is a man that runs the business. Contrary to what you guys want to say, him, Al Heyman, De La Hoya, Eddie Hearns, Frank Warren, these guys run the business, man. These are the top echelon promoters, matchmakers, guys putting on the shows. They run the business. So when one of the 4 kings, because I just ran off some names, maybe 5 names, 4, but I said 4 kings, says these things and points these things out, I love to say, hey, what do I know? So what the hell does he know then? If he's been in the game for 40 plus years, putting on biggest cards, Hearns Hagler, Ray Leonard, you know, the list goes on. And he says this. So, hey, what does he know? Coach Reeves' voice. What do we know? What do I know? I know Earl Spence got smoked. I know Deontay Wilder got smoked. I know a lot of the PBC fighters, when they cross the street, they got smoked. And we can even take it further back to Devin Alexander. Yes, remember Devin Alexander? Timothy Bradley beat the dog shit out of him. Desert Storm Bradley, a guy you guys don't like. But he was a top-ranked fighter. You know? But hopefully I stayed on course with this. You know, like I said, man, shout out to PBC. They are great at what they do, building pay-per-view fights and making guys pay-per-view attractions. But salute to Top Rank as well. They are great at what they do, at making you a well-rounded, complete fighter. And I think the reason why they are able to do that is because when it comes to putting on shows, Top Rank puts on more shows. Therefore, you are fighting more. When you fight more, you are more active. You are getting more work. It's just like anything in life. If you constantly are doing something that you have a trade at, whether it is cutting hair, whether it is construction work, building houses, engineer work, and you are constantly working, you are only going to get better. Whereas if you're not, and shout out to Rick Glazier, manager Marty, for their debate, going back and forth and highlighting some of these things. When you are constantly fighting, you are only going to get better. And one thing about Top Rank, they do more shows than the PBC. But like I said, it's all about what you are into. If you are into the smoke and mirrors and, you know, the PBC is where it's at for you. But if you are into quantity and quality, Top Rank is where it's at for you. Because Top Rank is going to mold you and build you into being, like I said, you put, let's name some of these young prospects, right? From PBC. I'm going to use this guy because we fought a common opponent. And I was always telling people this. Joey Spencer. I remember being in groups and I was like, yo, he sucks. Now I'm sounding like my brother, right? I was like, yo, the dude sucks, right? He was always fluff to me, right? I was like, yo, Jihad Tucker would mop the floor with him. Joey Spencer went the distance with Akeem Black. They gave us Akeem Black at the Turning Stone or Turning Point Casino. Yo, Jihad Tucker stopped him, right? And I was telling people, I said, yo, watch, we're going to stop this guy. It was like, yo, he went the distance with Joey Spencer. I remember being in some of these boxing groups and then telling me, yo, he went the distance with Joey Spencer. Joey Spencer's the good. I was like, Joey Spencer sucks. That guy, he sucks. People get mad at me when I speak like this, when I speak about boxing. But it's just like, this is how we talk, man. It's a family thing over here, man. You can't take my boxing views. If you can't, get out the kitchen, man. So, you know, and play it out, right? Jihad stopped Akeem Black. Joey Spencer went the distance with him. We just seen Jesus Ramos just destroy Joey Spencer. Now Jesus Ramos is the new thing over there. But remember at the time, Joey Spencer was the prospect of the year, and I was mad about that because I was like, yeah, disrespecting my guy Gary Antoine Russell, who didn't get it. And look at Gary. Shout out to Gary. Let me get to some of your comments, Gary. Hopefully you guys are smashing my like button. He said, you can't heal from a beat in a couple weeks. Facts, Gary. I see you know a little bit about boxing. Not only can you not heal mentally, it takes a while to heal, especially when you are a built-up commodity like Earl Spence. Earl Spence was the conqueror, the eye collector, the Terminator, the rib breaker, the bone smasher, the head cracker, sounding like my man Smooth the Hustler. But yeah, You don't heal from that, bro. That's why he's out there doing what he normally does, the goofy shit, posting on Instagram. He's trying to build his self-confidence back up. But the only way to do that is to get in the ring. And I don't advise you, never advise you. I don't consult you, never consulted you. What I did was try to help you because I did like you at once upon a time. But it is what it is. I don't recommend jumping back in there with Terrence. Your whole moniker, you need to reevaluate that. No tune-ups and all that shit. You need a couple of tune-ups. Shout out to my cousin, Roy Jones, for highlighting that. And you're mad at the Joneses. It is what it is. But you need a couple of tune-ups. But thank you, Gary. You are absolutely correct. PBC are wasting careers of fighters. Don't fight. Exactly. Great point, Gary. Great point. You definitely get an executive producer credit this morning, Gary. Great point. I will elaborate a little bit more on that. And shout out to Rick Glacier for also highlighting that. When you're fighting every 14 months, one thing about the fight game, it's not like where I'm about to go right now, a union job, where if I do trip, fall, hurt myself, getting out the loader or sweeper, I am allowed to go out on workman's comp. I am allowed to collect AFLAC, or I will still be getting paid. Whereas a fighter, if you don't fight in 14 months, you don't get paid. Not only do you not get paid, you lose a year of work. It doesn't go towards your retirement system. You don't get that back. But thank you for that, Gary. Great point. That's why you hence get an executive credit this morning. This is the Source Experience, a.k.a. Crash Dummy Boxing Chronicle Talk. But we are trying to educate you. There's too many crash dummies that talk boxing on the internet. We are trying to change that and program you guys in a different manner. He said, other than Tank this year, nobody else at Showtime is fighting regularly. At all. We still haven't seen Deontay Wilder fight, man. Still haven't seen the Bronze Bomber yet grace the square. And he was talking about fighting 3 times this year. Whereas, and I want y'all to catch this, AJ is on number 2, right? This is going to be AJ's second fight of the year. This tomorrow. AJ's on number 2. Deontay Wilder yet to grace the square once. But thank you for this, your content and your comments, Gary. Appreciate you. You know what? I'm going to wrap this up and go get my morning tea. But yes, man, Toprank, great at what they do as far as molding young talent. And that's why I think you see a lot of the young talent over there. The Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevensons, the Jared Andersons, the Jihad Tuckers, the Cashflow Diaz, the list goes on, the Troy Isleys, Tiger Johnsons. You see these guys over there. Now, eventually, they might relocate, because like a lot of fighters have done that started out with Toprank. They relocate, but they always go to the rank in the beginning. You know why? Because the rank has been around. But like I said, if you want the publicity, you want the fame, the notoriety, go with the PBC. But just be mindful when you do run into a dog and they and then they bite, you might end up like Earl Spence. Earl Spence is a dog. He's a dog. A yard dog. Terrence Crawford is a dog. A junkyard dog. You see the difference between a junkyard dog and a yard dog? See, the yard dog is a bad motherfucker in that yard. But that junkyard dog, he's a bad motherfucker in the neighborhood. He's gonna go around. He's gonna go fuck with all the bitches. And I mean bitches, I'm saying female dogs. He's leaving his yard. But that yard dog's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You come in his yard, he's tough. But you get him out his yard, Earl Spencer point. Earl Spencer was a bad motherfucker in Dallas, man. Man, he got out there in Vegas. Man, that wasn't Earl. No, it was Earl. He just faced up against a junkyard dog, man. Terrence Crawford is a globe trotter. He's a globe trotter. He's the Canelo Alvarez type, man. He stomps around. But yes, appreciate y'all. Shout out to Gary. Appreciate you, Gary. Don't be a stranger, Gary. Subscribe to the channel if you ain't already subscribed. And feel free. Like sometimes I do open up the panel, man. I would love to hear you because I can see from your comments you have some insight there, brother. And one thing about me is if you come on my panel and we don't agree, I'm not going to curse you out. I'm not going to mute your mic. I'm not going to say, yo, get the fuck out of here. This is my show. Get the fuck out of here. Nah, I don't do that, man. I don't do that, man. It's like, this is YouTube, man. This is StreamYard. It's all good, man. It's all good, man. We don't always have to see eye to eye. Because one thing like me, I'm not programmed, you know. Everybody has an ingredient, you know. But yes, let's close on that. And since I was talking about smoke and mirrors and star power, let's close with smoke and mirrors.
And then, like Bo Mac said, "Oh, I guarantee EJ living paycheck to paycheck." I'm definitely not living paycheck to paycheck. I guarantee you, if we check our tax reports at the end of the year, I guarantee I make more than him. He got 3 coaches. We don't know who the head coach is. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a way better fighter than Terrence Crawford. Who has he fought? The only name fight you fight is Yorkers Game Boy, the guy that he fought. I fought Lamar Peterson, Chris Algieri, Kell Brook. I mean, and how many fights he got? 30-some fights? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's a great fighter, things like that, but you can't put him to me. Like the guy he just fought for the undisputed welterweight, light welterweight champion of the world, Regis Prograis stopped him later than he did. You know what I'm saying? So you got to add that all into conclusion to who you say the top welterweight. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff is smoke and mirrors. That's what Bob Earl do. Bob Earl do a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors with him, and that's how it is with Terrence Crawford. If you name one of y'all, name me a guy he fought. That was talk about.
Anybody better than Chris Algieri?
Name me a top guy he fought that's better than Chris Algieri.
Oh, no, I'm check out name him.
Nah, they're better than Chris Algieri. Name me one guy.
Oh, no, I'm check
Felix
out
Diaz. So you think Felix? I think Chris Algieri beat Felix Diaz.
Chris Algieri beat the Russian. He beat Ndongo?
He beat the Russian kid. Adongo just got knocked out by Regis Prograis.
Hey, great fight, Errol. Great fight, my nigga. Great fight, dog. Great fight. That nigga is fucked up. Damn. Hey, time to flip.
Yeah, from the rafters to the floor, man. Yeah, you going up to the floor, man. Yeah, you going up to the rafters or what, man?
No, I'm down here all night, Sean.
Oh, okay. It's like,
what about yourself, man?
Yeah, we down here. You see, we down here.
Hey, this is Coach Larry Wade, IBL Champions. Hey, I train professional boxers, and you with Sauce Talk Podcast. You don't want to miss anything that he puts on here.
Appreciate you, champ. You know the vibe.